What's up, EV Clan? Alex Espion here, and welcome back to the next episode of the Pokemon Gold Randomizer Nuzlocke. This episode, we are starting off with an encounter in this cave here, the Ice Path. And then, after that, we are going to go outside and get another encounter, which we were not able to do in the last episode, because in the last episode, we went down Route 44, which was a new route, but we did not end up getting any encounters on that route, actually. So, we're going to go do that now. Once we do this encounter in here. And we got a Nidoran female here, which is Dupe's Claws, because we have a Nidoqueen, so we're going to re-encounter. I think that, obviously we have no moves that are not very effective on this thing, but I think Quincy can still deal with it just fine. It is only a Nidoran, but only a Nidoran, right? Like, not a big issue. Even if we only have not very effective moves, not a big issue. But if you missed the last episode, basically, what I just said pretty much summarized it. We went down Route 44. That's about it. Not the most interesting of episodes, but I did talk a little bit about Amazing Digital Circus, which I know is a hot topic, pretty much always, because it's crazy popular, for good reason too, obviously. Very good very good series. If you missed previous episodes, I like it. I like it a lot. I think Amazing Digital Circus is a really good series, like unironically. And I don't know how many people like it, ironically. I feel like people just like it genuinely. Like, a lot of people just genuinely like it. But I feel like there must be some people who like it, ironically, right? Like, they're just like, oh, this is the popular thing, so I like it ironically, right? There must be some people who just like it ironically. Because, as great of a series as it is, there will always be people who do not like something, right? Like, no matter how good it is, people have their own opinions. People have different opinions, you know? There are people out there who don't like Amazing Digital Circus. Crazy as it seems to someone like me, who thinks it's like absolute peak, there are people out there who don't like it. And out of those people who don't like it, I mean, I guess people who like it ironically still like it, but there must be people out there who just don't like it, period. And then there are other people out there who don't like it genuinely, but probably like it ironically, right? But yeah, this is our encounter. It's an Igglybuff. Not the greatest encounter in the world. However, evolutions are randomized, so it could evolve into anything. It could evolve into something much better than what it is right now. However, judging by previous evolutions, I don't know how to weaken this thing, so I'm just kind of throw a Great Ball at it and hope it goes in. Because we have put it to sleep. I know it is level 22, so I don't know how effective throwing a Great Ball is at it. A Great Ball at it is at full health, but apparently quite effective because we just caught it in one. Maybe that was the sleep doing the heavy lifting, or maybe a level 22 Igglybuff just isn't that hard to catch. I'm gonna go with a little bit of both. It has a very soft body. If it starts to roll, it will bounce all over and be impossible to stop. See, that sounds like your typical Pokedex entry hyperbole that doesn't make any sense if you think about it. If you think about it for more than 2 seconds, it really doesn't make any sense. It never stops. Wait, it never stops? Like never? Like, it is immune to centripetal force? It is immune to the laws of physics? It just never stops? There's no drag force? It's not slowly losing speed? An object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon? Or, I guess, forever? Question mark? An object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon, unless it's Igglybuff, in which case it just stays in motion? What? Like, we're breaking the laws of physics here? But anyway, what are we gonna name this Igglybuff? We're gonna name it a name that I have not named anything before in this series. We're gonna name it... Let me think. I am thinking. Thoughts are coming into my head, and they are, unfortunately, all thoughts of names that we already have named things. So, have we named anything Holly yet? I feel like we have, but I also feel like we haven't. I think have is overpowering haven't, so I'm gonna say we have. I might want to check next PC I go to. Wait, did we catch a Pokemon in the last episode? I feel like I didn't name anything, but I feel like I was focused on gender signs, so I'm usually focusing on gender signs in this series when I'm naming something, because I don't want to name it the wrong name for its gender. So I feel like the fact that I remember talking about gender signs and thinking about gender signs in the last episode The fact that I remember that tells me that we might have gotten an encounter last episode, but I don't think we did. So maybe I was just like talking about gender signs in a different context. I know I was talking about gender signs just like in reference to a Pokemon I wasn't catching. Or maybe that was earlier in this episode. I don't actually know. Because I am filming this one and the previous one back to back. So it could have been just earlier in this episode, actually. And it could have been I was talking about the gender sign and the female Nidoran. But, yeah, what am I going to name this thing? Just kind of lingering on the screen. Still not coming up with a name. Let's go with... Have I named anything Annie yet? I feel like I don't have an Annie. I don't think there's any Annies. But was there an Annie in the last series? I don't think there was an Annie in the last series. What's like an old-fashioned name that I definitely haven't named something yet? I definitely haven't named anything Josephine, but I've fought the temptation to name something Josephine multiple times just because I don't know how to spell it. My thinking noise. My thinking noise that may or may not be annoying to many of you. See, I come up with all these names outside of episode, and then when I actually am, like, sitting in front of a name screen having to come up with a name, I can't. I just can't recall any. Jenny? We don't have a Jenny, do we? I kind of don't want to do that because there's a gym leader, not a gym leader. There's a character named Officer Jenny in Pokemon. So I don't want it to seem like I'm referencing that in any way. But also that's not even a thing in the games. So, but it is Pokemon related. I feel like I want these names to be like strictly not Pokemon related, but also, let's just call it Jen. Jennifer? How do I spell Jennifer? I'll name it Jennifer. Jennifer is a name that I definitely haven't used before. Let me look up how to spell Jennifer real quick. I imagine there are multiple spellings. I'm just going to go with the one that looks the most common. Jennifer. Okay, so it's not that one, is what I'm seeing. I typed in Jeniffer. And I'm not seeing a lot of Jeniffer. Actually, am I? Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer something else. 90 Day Fiancé, Jennifer. Apparently the Jennifer... Oh, wait, it's not even spelled that way. Never mind. the Facebook Facebook post title that I was looking at was just lying to me about how her name is spelled. Jennifer I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to whoever this is. Jennifer Picinato. Pixinato? Piscinato. I don't think it's that. Jennifer the 90 Day Manipulator. See, that's another person spelling Jennifer from 90 Day Fiancé's name wrong, I think. Or maybe the other thing I saw spelling her name was incorrect. Was the one thing that was incorrect. Okay, so I'm mostly seeing Jennifer from 90 Day Fiancé, whose name may or may not be actually spelled like that. Actually, no one's name is spelled like that, actually, now that I look at it. Jeniffer seems to be just not how you spell Jennifer. That's crazy to me. Jennifer Terrazona. Is that the 90 Day Fiancé one spelled wrong again, or is that just... Which one is the 90 Day Fiancé one? Is it Jennifer Piscianto? No, Piscinato? Oh, Piscinato sounds so much better than... No, Piscinato sounds so much worse than Piscianto, actually. Is it Piscinato, or is it Terrazona, or is it neither of those? I don't know. Either way, this doesn't seem like the common way of spelling Jennifer. Jennifer Aniston, Jennifer Lawrence, Jennifer Lopez, Jennifer Connolly. Okay, so they all seem... All those ones I just said, those four I just said in a row, all are Jennifer. So I guess the most common spelling, at least based off of those 4 celebrities, is Jennifer. So let me just keep saying that over and over again until I put it in. Jennifer, 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 I already had the Jen. Jennifer, Jennifer, Jennifer. Okay, got it. Y'all know, if you've watched my channel a lot, I have a terrible memory, or maybe you just watched one random video when I said it, because that's possible, because I've said it in a lot of videos, but, yeah, I have a terrible memory, so excuse me for assaulting your ears for a second, but I wanted to do that, so I just didn't forget how to spell it. Hold on, let me X that out, and in the process, check that I was spelling it right. Jennifer, great. Anyway, back to the task at hand, which is getting another encounter. And there is no grass on this route from what I've seen, so we are going to instead get an encounter in this water. Oh, there is grass actually right over here. But we're not going to get an encounter in that grass, I don't think. Actually, should we? Okay, I got a leaf stone. That means I could evolve Weepinbell, but why would I? Because that would get rid of their shiny. I think, yeah. Probably, right? Like, it wouldn't just evolve into a random shiny, it would evolve into not a shiny, because it's random. Would it evolve into a random Pokemon, or just a random shiny? I feel like just a random Pokemon, so I should not do that if I want to keep the shiny on it, which I do, because how many times in a Nuzlocke do you get to use a shiny Pokemon? The answer is anytime you play Johto, but I'm probably never going to play Johto again, so, probably this is the only time I will ever be able to. That's a lie. I will probably play Johto again at some point in Nuzlocke form. Just not again for a very long time, I'm sure. Anyway, we need to make room in our bag for this thing we are not using on Quincy, but maybe using on someone else in the future. So, what we got in here that we can get rid of, that we are willing to part with. Lowers the foe's accuracy is what Bright Powder does. I thought it was the powder that, powers up Bug-type moves, but I guess it is not. I guess we will give it to Shucky, because anyone really could hold that, but Shucky has now no held items, so we're gonna give it to specifically Shucky. We get the Leaf Stone. Great. Don't know what we're gonna do with that. Perhaps nothing, but we get it anyway, just in case. Yeah, I'm gonna go for an encounter in the water. I feel like we don't do enough encounters in the water. I feel like it's mostly grass in a normal playthrough of Pokemon, because you don't get the ability to go in the water until much later than you do the ability to go in grass. Which makes sense, because you get your first encounter in grass in, I believe, every Pokemon game. So, here's a Bellsprout. I'm just gonna show you this screen, and leave it up to you to figure out why I'm killing this thing. It could be for any reason. Any reason. It could be anything. However, I will give you a little hint. The reason why I'm killing this thing is because of a combination of the syllable "spee" and the other syllable "sees," and then the last name of Santa. That's why we're killing this thing. Spee plus "sees" plus the last name of Santa. That should allow you to figure it out. Just a slight hint. So then we're gonna go for the acid. As soon as we wake up, that is. What the heck, Bellsprout? That he tries to poison me while I'm asleep? This idiot. Look at this idiot. Look at how not shiny he is. Disappointing. Honestly, disgusting. Imagine having something in the Bellsprout family that is not shiny on your team. I would never. That's why I'm killing this thing. Not because it's species, but just because I don't want it. Just because I am so above that. Non-shiny Bellsprout, which is going to evolve into a non-shiny Weepinbell. Ugh! Ugh! Disgusting. Why would I even catch that? Who would catch that? Non-shiny Bellsprout? Ugh! Gross. You must have to be so poor. Let me just put on my most stuck-up attitude to this non-shiny Bellsprout. And the funny thing is, I'm complaining about how it will evolve into a non-shiny Weepinbell when I already have a shiny Weepinbell, but the fact of the matter is it won't even do that. It will probably evolve into another Gligar. In all honesty. Sudowoodo. If things continue to evolve only into Hoppip, then Totodile, then Gligar. That could potentially lead to a really funny, really funny thing in the future that I could do, where I just, like, make an entire team full of Glygars to take on a gym. That sounds like it would be really funny. And obviously an opportunity that I won't have the opportunity, and obviously something that I wouldn't have the opportunity to do in really any other Nuzlocke. Just, like, create a full team of one Pokemon. Sounds funny, especially if it's Gligar. Especially if it's a Pokemon as sucky as Gligar is. That was my encounter! Fudge! Dang it, I was too busy talking about making an entire team of Glygars, which is stupid. That I did something even more stupid than talk about making an entire team full of Glygars. Kill my encounter while talking about making an entire team full of Glygars. I am dumb! I am actually a freaking idiot! It wouldn't be the first time, and it won't be the last. Okay, so, now that we have killed our encounter on that route and gotten an encounter on this route, we are ready to progress in this game. And do a couple of ice puzzles in this icy path, because it's icy. And it's a cave. So there are walls and ice. And where there's walls and ice in Pokemon, there's usually an ice puzzle. So, who are we gonna have in front? I mean, I guess Quincy, still. I don't really have a big reason to take out Quincy out of the front, besides it's lost a little bit of health since I put it in front, and it's not really that much health, so I don't think it's a very good reason, so I think we're keeping Quincy in front for now. I was gonna heal them, but I don't think 48 out of 85 health really constitutes needing to heal. Maybe I'm just being overly cocky, but I feel like in a Nuzlocke, you want to be careful with your item usage. Obviously, enough to the point where you survive, but not too much to the point where you're making yourself frickin' broke. Because you do not want to be broke when you actually need to buy potions, you know? You don't want to be using up potions on... You don't want to be using up potions on random-ass things that don't really need a potion, right? You don't want to be using up potions when you really don't need them. Because then that's wasting potions, which is wasting money that you could use to buy potions at times when you actually need potions. By wasting potions, you are making yourself unable. You are possibly making yourself unable to afford potions when you actually need them. So, yeah, that is. You want to avoid wasting healing items in a Nuzlocke, especially. However, now we have taken 50 damage, exactly 50 damage again, so we could again heal the exact amount of health that we have missing with the Super Potion. So I think after this battle I will do that. I don't want to take any more damage. I'm out of Vine Whips. If I had a Vine Whip, it would absolutely slaughter this Water Rock type Kabutops, but I sadly do not have any more left. So we will, instead of killing this thing with a Vine Whip, which we do not have, and therefore cannot do, instead come in with Judy and kill it with a submission. I almost said close combat. I won't lie. I almost said close combat. Close combat is much better than submission, not only because it doesn't damage you with recoil, but also because it is, it does not have a crazy low amount of accuracy. Although I say crazy low, but we haven't really missed all that many of them. It's just not 100. And if it's not 100% accurate, it's 50% accurate, as MMJTV once said, because I used to watch that channel. That's a channel I used to watch. I used to watch a lot of Pokemon channels. Now it's just kind of Alpharad. I don't know why I thought that was so funny. I mean, it's funny, just not that funny, to the point where it required a laugh as obnoxious as that, I think. But yeah, we're gonna go for the acid, I guess, because I'm not really afraid of this thing. Obviously, if Quincy doesn't take any more damage, then we can heal exactly the amount of damage we've taken with the Super Potion, but as satisfying as that is, it's not necessary. I'm okay with taking a little bit more damage. I really don't think this thing can kill us. Knock on wood. It's just going for hardens, so I'm guessing it can't. I've already knocked on wood, so I'm not going to knock on wood for that, too. We're just going to count that as the same general meaning behind both those sentences that I just said, and therefore say that me knocking on wood counts for both of them. Even though it was... I knocked on the wood before the second one, so... Yeah, we're going to kill this Kabuto. As I thought, not an issue. A non-issue, some would say. I would say, because non-issue sounds cooler than not an issue. Sounds more, educated. And obviously, everyone knows that sounding educated means sounding cool. Because school is cool. Stay in school, kids, or something. I don't know. Anyway, we are going to now use that super potion, which will not heal us the exact amount of damage, the exact amount we need to go back up to full health, but it will heal us a decent amount, almost back up to full health, which is not as satisfying, but is almost as effective. So, we just go around here, solving this ice puzzle, slide by slide. You know, I don't think there's much to solve. I think you just kind of go. You just kind of go and leave. Like, I was like, oh, I could just go right to that right path over there. This path over here. Easy. But what's up here? And then I went up there, and there was nothing up there, so I guess I should have just gone to the right path the easy way, instead of doing all that. So how did I get to the point where I was like, wow, going right would be easy right now? Did I? Maybe I'm just imagining things. Maybe that didn't happen. Is this the right way, or is this the way I came? I feel like this is the way I came. I don't see another way that I possibly could have came from. Could have come from? Could have come from, right? Came from, come from. Come from is the right usage in that. Come from is the right word to use there. Could have come from, not could have came from. I don't know. Both of them sound correct, but I know only one of them is. I just don't know which one. Which is, kind of disappointing for someone who is as good as English that I think as I think I am. But I don't actually know which of those is grammatically correct there. We get there. Just a couple more slides, we got this. There. Then there. Then here. Hit him with the hard callouts, hoping it works. Hoping I just charisma my way through this. And then there. If I say it confidently enough, it's probably going to be true. And then here. Like it's nothing. It's nothing. It's something. If I just charisma my way through, it's easy. All I have to do is just be super nonchalant about it, and then I just do it. And then I just win. And then it's just done. Now just go down here, and we're done. We're not. I'm not being nonchalant enough. That's the problem. Is this nonchalant enough? No. Okay. Make them think you don't want it, Alex. Make them think you don't want it. Go over here, and then just like that, easy as pie, over to this one. And then, from there, it's as easy as going this way. No, it's not. But what if I told you that that was just a trick? What if I told you I'm just padding out runtime right now? What if I told you that I'm just delaying for the sake of getting more runtime on this video? And actually, I could have solved this 2 minutes ago. I'd be lying. I don't even think I was doing this 2 minutes ago. Maybe I was. Maybe it's taken longer than I thought it was. Thought it would. Thought it is. Thought it did. I think thought it did makes more sense there. There we go. Okay. Done. See, easy as pie. Anyway. Yeah, what if I just was stalling there for the sake of getting more runtime on my video? I wasn't. But what if I was? You never know. You do know because I just told you I wasn't. But what if you don't believe me? Then you never know. Well, then you think you know. But you never really know. As long as you don't believe me, then you never know. You just think you do. Anyway, Sneasel is an interesting color in this game. That is a very strange color for their sprite to be, considering what they look like in future games. Orange with blue? If I didn't know better, I'd say that is a shiny. However, it did not do a shiny effect, so I don't think that's shiny. Or maybe it is. Maybe I just killed a shiny that I could have caught because of shiny claws, and then I would have had 2 shinies on my team. Except I wouldn't use a Sneasel because that's freaking stupid. And you may be thinking to yourself, Alex, what's wrong with using a Sneasel? Weavile's really cool. And to that I say, this is Gen 2. Sneasel is not cool yet. Sneasel does not evolve into anything Sneasel does not evolve into anything useful yet. Sneasel is just Sneasel in this generation, which sucks. Isn't it crazy how many generations have given Sneasel attention? Because, like, Sneasel already gets quite a bit of attention in the gen it was released in. Because it's used by the rival, right? That already gives it, like, a seat of advantage when it comes to attention. That already gives it an advantage of sorts. Pokemon may be able to use this. Do we have strength on anyone? Juan has strength, of course. How could I forget? Our very strong macho Gligar, because there are so many strong, big, muscular Gligars out there. This was the wrong thing to do, wasn't it? I don't think I can push this back down. Yeah, it's just kind of going across the... Okay, yeah. Well, darn. I guess I pushed that a little bit too far in some direction that I cannot distinguish which way it was. Any way I can push this over there, like away from this wall, so I can push it over this way? I'm not seeing one, but what if there was one? Can I go around? You know, it would be really obnoxious if I ran into a Pokemon right now. You know what's probably going to happen now that I've said that? I run into a Pokemon right now. Thinking sound again. I'm sure it's just as annoying this time as it has been every time before this. Do I have repels? I would love a repel right now. I don't really go for repels in Pokemon much, as I've said in previous videos, but this is one of those times where I may just make an exception if I have one. I don't. The one time I want repels, I don't have one. That's unfortunate. So I guess I'll just have to brave all the wild Pokemon I'm going to run into in this cave. And brave and cave rhyme, so it sounds better than if I said something that didn't rhyme. Everything sounds better when it rhymes. It sounds more satisfying that way, and cooler. And more honest. Okay, I did a thing. The boulder fell through, that's great. But what about a different boulder? What about getting a different boulder to fall through? Can I not encounter anything on this floor? That's great, that's awesome. Shout out to this floor, which is just, like, devoid of all Pokemon life. Because if it wasn't, it would be super annoying to push around all these rocks because I'd be constantly getting interrupted by encounters, left, right, and center. When I just want to push my little rock. Like a good boy. Anyway, the boulder fell through. Okay, great. There's another boulder that has fallen through. And now we gotta make another boulder somewhere else fall through. It's gonna be great. If I go downstairs, is it gonna make me push all these boulders again? This time in a way that all of them fall down and one doesn't get stuck? Do I have to push them all down? Like, in one sitting? Like, on one trip to this floor? If I do, that's obnoxious. That's obnoxious, but I also get how to do it if I do. Like, I understand what I have to do. I understand what I've done wrong. Not really, but I believe I will once I see it. I know at the very least how to do the other ones, right? Because I've done the other ones at this point. If I have to redo those, then that sucks because it's annoying that I have to do it again. But also, I know how to do it at this point, so it's not that big of a deal. Like, I'm fine. I can do it again. It's not that big of a problem. It's just kind of annoying because it's something I've already done. So it's boring. It's boring to do it again because I've already done it. But it's not that big of an issue, really. Just annoying. Not hard, just annoying. We're gonna push it not this way because then it just goes directly down a wall. Oh no, I can't encounter things here! No! This floor of the cave is not devoid of all Pokemon life. In fact, I think I just ran into a Ninetales and I didn't even acknowledge that I ran into something. Or maybe that was a trainer, I don't know. I feel like those were trainers on this floor. I feel like that would be really obnoxious if they made you do this, like, very precise-looking rock puzzle where you push the rock against these away from these exact walls and avoiding these exact tiles. If they just made you do that with trainers in the way, I feel like that would be really obnoxious, so I don't think they would do that. But maybe they did. Maybe I ran into a trainer. and that's why I fought a Ninetales earlier. However, I don't think that there would be a trainer here because I don't remember seeing a trainer, and it also doesn't make much sense that there would be a trainer on this floor, especially in the middle of, like, where you'd be pushing rocks. So, I'm just going to say that that was probably a wild Ninetales, and I just didn't acknowledge the fact that I fought a wild Ninetales, even though I believed that there were no wild Pokemon on this floor. But yeah, we are going to kill this Arcanine, like it's no problem, because it is no problem. And then we are going to continue our rock-pushing escapades here. Like that, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then careful about what I do next. Encounter a Pokemon, that's what I do next, unfortunately. It is a Ninetales. Oh, it's a shiny! Not a Ninetales. Why did I say Ninetales? I'm so stupid. Okay. That's, crazy. Actually insane. These are normal shiny odds, guys. I did not turn up the shiny odds. I don't even know how to do that. That is just a normal-ass shiny Ninetales. Why do I keep saying Ninetales? That is not a Ninetales. Alex, that's not a Ninetales. That is a shiny Arcanine. That is a full-on shiny Arcanine. What? Full-on shiny Arcanine. How? In Gen 2! I can't get a shiny Squirbat in 2 years of hunting for it with a shiny charm! How do I get a random ass shiny Arcanine? What? That's crazy! I have no words. Except I'm still talking because obviously I need to commentate, but I have no words. What you're hearing right now isn't even words. Shout out to Original 151. That's an Original 151 quote. If you got that, you're awesome. Simply by the nature of you watching his channel, you are awesome. If you watch the channel enough to the point where you know that, you're awesome. Original 151, great Poketuber. He is one of the key reasons why I am making Pokemon content on this platform right now. Alpharad, as I said, also up there, because I haven't watched another Pokemon channel besides Alpharad for a very long time. But Original 151 I did watch for a while. It's just recently I haven't watched his content. I just haven't watched anything from him in like a year, I'd say. I really don't want to lose this Arcanine, but also it is not dying. It is not dying. It is not getting in the ball. It's really not. And it's really annoying when there's a shiny on my screen and I just can't catch it. It's really annoying me. Could you get in the ball? Thank you! Thank you! Shiny Arcanine! Let's go! How? How? Actually, how did that happen? Actually, how have I ended up with a full odd shiny Arcanine in Gen 2? When the shiny odds are so much lower than they are now. That's crazy. This legendary Chinese Pokemon is considered magnificent. Many people are enchanted by its grand mane. I got a shiny legendary, guys! Definitely. Totally a shiny legendary. It said the legendary Pokemon, guys. This is a shiny legendary, clearly. What do we name our shiny Arcanine here? We will be stuck on this screen for a while. I'm sure of it, because I can't come up with a name for a normal Pokemon within a timely amount of time. In a timely fashion, rather. How am I supposed to come up with a name for a shiny, a full odd shiny, in Gen 2 in a timely fashion? What is a normal-ass name befitting of this not normal-ass Pokemon? Do I have a Stewart? I think I had a Stewart in Gen 1. So not Stewart. Robbie? Do you have anyone named Robbie? What's a really... Smith? Are there people named Smith? Is that like a name? I know that there's like... Obviously that's like... I feel like that's more commonly a last name. I have heard of people named Smith, but I don't know if that's like a boy's name or a girl's name, or like if it's not really one specific gender. I don't know what gender Smith is supposed to be as a name. The only Smith I know of is that one YouTuber... VTuber? Twitch streamer? I don't really know how to address them. That one person that AlphaRad makes videos with. And I know they're they, them. So I don't know what gender of a name Smith normally is. Or, like, typically is. Or if that's just, like, a special case. Or, like, if anyone else is named Smith. I don't know any other Smiths. I don't know if it's, like, an actual name or just something that, like, they made. Like, it's just a unique name unique to them. And they don't want to do, like, a name that I only know of one person with that name. Because then people are going to hear it and they're going to be like, what? That's a name? It's like, maybe. Or maybe it's just some unique person's name. I don't know. Do Frankie. Frankie sounds really cringe. Frankie sounds like a really cringe name. Sorry to all those people who are named Frankie out there. I feel like that's a girl's name kind of too. I feel like that one can definitely go either way. Like, I think on a boy or a girl, Frankie makes sense. Frankie on a girl, though, would be like Francisca, right? Then Frankie on a boy would be like Franklin or Francis. Do we have a Franklin? Do we have a Francis? Do I have a Francis? Francisco? Is Francisco a name? Is that a first name? Are people named Francisco? I'm gonna look that one up too. Are there people out there named Francisco? Or is that just like a middle name or a last name type of thing? Is that a first name? That's a first name, right? Francis is a first name, so why wouldn't Francisco also be a first name? Francisco is... Francisco... Shut up. Francisco... I'm getting one person named Francisco. Was a general and the leader of... I don't want to say this in case this is like a bad person. I don't want to just like... I'm worried about like saying military generals' names in case they're like... Yeah, you know. I'm sure you can imagine why. Francisco, who was a general and the leader of the nationalist forces that overthrew the Spanish Democratic Republic in the Spanish Civil War. Okay. Is that a bad person? Is that a good person? I don't know. I don't know what American history views most people as. I don't want to say something where like all the US historians are going to be like, that guy's evil, we don't like him. Francisco Franco. So that's that guy I was just reading about. Francisco Lachowski. Any other Franciscos I should know about? Francisco Lindor. Baseball player. No, wait. Baseball shortstop. I don't know what that means. I don't know enough about sports to know what that means. Francisco Lachowski. Maria Elena Bergoglio. Pope Francis' sister. That's not... Well, I guess Francisco. Okay, yeah, I can see how Google got there. Okay, yeah. Francisco is a name. In fact, it is in fact a name. That's great. I'm going to name it Francisco. This shiny Arcanine is going to be named Francisco. I also want to name something Francis at some point, but I gotta find the right Pokemon because that's my middle name. So, if I'm gonna name something Francis, it's gotta be something good. Francisco. Because then I'm effectively like saying like, this is me. This is like a representation of me. It's gotta be a good Pokemon if I'm naming it Francis. And then it's gotta be like the Pokemon if I'm naming it Alex, you know? It's gotta be an Espeon if I'm naming it Alex. I'm not naming a Pokemon Alex unless it's Espeon, I think. There might be some some deviation from that. There might be some, what's the word? Exceptions. But for the most part, I do not think I'm naming a Pokemon Alex unless it's an Espeon. Because that's just fitting. Oh wait, hold on. I think, actually push all of these down to their respective places where they need to be, which is on the bottom floor. On the floor below this, I mean. I don't know if that's the bottom floor, but it is a floor below this one that they need to be on. So, I'm going to actually push this last rock down, and then I'm going to head down myself, following the rocks down, and hope that me pushing those rocks has helped in some way, and thereby allowed me to progress. So I think I go like this, and then in here, and then from there, don't go up, go there, go down, and then no, don't do that. Wait, what do I do? Oh gosh, have I messed it up? Because if I push it up from here, then it's gonna end up, it's gonna be here, and I can't push it that way, when it's here. And then it's gonna be here, if I push it up again, and I still can't push it that way, if it's up there. And then, hold on, Arcanine, I'm summarizing something here, I'm saying a thing, hold on, chill out, man. So then I'm gonna run away from this guy so I can continue my analogy real quick. So then, so if I move it up, if I move it up to this place, then I can't push it this way because of that rock in the way. It's preventing me from getting on that side of it. And then if I move up, then I still can't push it that way because I still can't push it this way because there's a rock in the way. And then if I move it up again, I still can't push it this way because there's a rock on that side of it again. And then if I push it up again, then I can push it that way, yeah, but then I can't push it back down because there's rocks up here. So where do I need to push this thing in order for it to be in a place that is helpful to me? I think I actually know. Okay. I think I push it here, and then do not push it any further that way because then it's going to get stuck up against the wall. I push it like that, and then this way, and then down, and then that way. There we go. And now that we have done that, I will go up. Not up, down. I will go down. And then I will use those in order to do this ice puzzle here, which I'm sure would be impossible if those walls were not there. Those walls in the form of those rocks were not there to stop me. So we are going to actually end off the episode after I defeat this Slowpoke. Because we hit the 25-minute mark quite a while ago, and while I understand that we are not yet through this cave, at the same time, this is a pretty long cave. So I feel like we're at the end. We're getting towards the end, actually. I think I might go on until at least we beat this puzzle. If I beat this puzzle, if I get through this puzzle, and then I realize that... If I get through this puzzle, and then I, like, continue on, and it doesn't look like I'm getting close to the end of the cave, then I'll leave it off there, right? I'll just stop the recording there. But, if I do this puzzle, if I finish this puzzle, and then it looks like we're about to exit the cave, then I'll just do the entire cave in this episode. Obviously excluding the encounter we got. Actually, was that? Yeah. Was that in the last episode? I'm so confused. Did we get that encounter at the beginning of this episode? I think that was the beginning of this episode, yeah, because because after that encounter I went back and said I did not get this previous encounter in the last episode, so that couldn't have been the last episode, because I've only recorded 2 episodes today, so it couldn't have been... So, since there was a last episode for me to mention, and that episode I recorded earlier today, I couldn't have recorded... me getting that encounter could not have been the previous episode, because then I would have had to have recorded 3 episodes in order for me to, after that encounter, say, getting that encounter, actually, for me to say, at the end of I didn't get this encounter during the last episode, so I'm getting it now. I wouldn't be able to say that unless we did unless I recorded 3 episodes, if that had been the previous episode where I had gotten that cave encounter, this cave encounter. So, and I know we didn't record 3 episodes, so it had to be... Yeah, if I... What should I get rid of? If I, since I said... In the previous episode, Since I said, while getting that encounter in this cave, I'm gonna use this rare candy. Since I said, am I? I don't know, this seems like kind of a waste of a rare candy. Let's just drop a burnt berry, I guess. We don't need this. Let's drop a burnt berry. No. Let's drop an ice berry. A self-heal for burn. And then burnt berry is a self-cure for freezing. Okay. So let's just drop the ice berry. Ice berry is for burn. Burnt berry is for ice. Burnt berry is for freeze, rather. That's confusing. Can I give it to someone? No, no one seems to be able to take it, really. I mean, they could. It's just not ideal. Do we have any more Rage Candy Bars in here? Or are those all gone? Because if we do, then I could certainly get rid of those. I could certainly feed those to someone, and then we won't have them any longer, and then we'll have another space open in the bag. It does not seem we have any Rage Candy Bars now. Okay, so then I will simply throw out this Ice Berry in order to make room for something that I believe also cures burn, right? It was a burn heal? No, not give. Toss! Sorry, I'm stupid. Ice Berry. Good. And then... Burn Heal. Does the same thing, but this one was in a Pokeball on the floor, and I don't want to, see... Hold on. Wait, can I just go right down? Oh, wait, I could go right down, but there's another thing... There's another Pokeball over here. A potion? I don't need a potion. However, I do want to get this Pokeball off the floor so I don't see it again and be like, oh, I didn't get that thing there. So, I'm going to throw out... Do I have any items that do the same thing? Poison Cure Berry. Do I have antidotes? I don't need those antidotes if I have Poison Cure Berries. If I have an antidote, I'll get rid of it. Do I have Paralyze Heal Berries? Because I have a Paralyze Heal. Any berries that heal paralysis? Bitterberry? That heals confusion. Not paralysis. I don't have anything that heals confusion besides that, so I won't get rid of that. I guess I just say goodbye to the awakening, right? Like, I don't need an awakening. I can, Okay, but do I need a cure for freezing? I guess it's good to have, but also I feel like in most situations, your Pokemon freezes, you just, like, and you need to heal that. In most situations where your Pokemon freezes and you just desperately need to heal that, and you can't just, like, wait it out until you thaw, I feel like in most situations like that, your Pokemon, you can just, like, you just get, you could just, like, get frozen again the second you heal the freeze. So I feel like freeze heals in general are just not that useful. Actually, I'll just get rid of the burn heal again, because who cares if my Pokemon is burned? That's a real I don't care type of status condition, because it's not common, and also, if I have a special attacker out, or anyone with decent health, it doesn't matter. Or I could just switch out. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, it disables a Pokemon for, like, a little bit. Obviously, if it's a physical attacker, then that's a pain in the butt, but I feel like burn in general is just not that bad. Really, for anyone. It's crippling for someone who can only hit on the physical side, but in most situations, yeah, I feel burn is not that bad, really. I can handle it. I don't need burn heals. I don't think I've really... I can't think of the last time I used a burn heal. I feel like it was like... I can't think of the last time I used a burn heal in Pokemon. I feel like it was like... 5 years ago? I genuinely think I have used burn heals in Pokemon, like, less than 10 times. Over the course of my life. But, anyway, what was I saying before? It was something that I was having a lot of trouble explaining, which doesn't narrow it down a whole lot, because I have a lot of trouble explaining a lot of things. Oh yeah, so, at the beginning of... When I caught that encounter in this cave, that had to have been at the beginning of this episode. Because while catching that encounter, I was saying about how I hadn't gotten an encounter in the previous episode, and I only recorded 2 episodes today. I definitely did not record 3 episodes, and in order for that to... This is definitely the second episode I'm recording. And in order for me to be able to say that I didn't catch anything in the previous episode, I would have had to have recorded 3 episodes, including this one, if that was the last episode. In order for that to have been the last episode, and for me to say, in order for the combination of that being the last episode, and me saying, in order for the combination of that being the last episode, and me saying that the previous episode I didn't get an encounter on the route I was on, that Route 44, it would have had to have been the 3rd episode, what I'm recording right now. And this is not the 3rd episode, this is the 2nd one. I definitely did not record 3 episodes today, and so therefore, I can deduce from that the encounter that I got in this cave was at the beginning of this episode. Not the previous episode, because in order for it to have been the previous episode, judging off of what I said while catching that encounter, I would have had to have recorded 3 episodes today, including this one. Rock Smash! We need a Pokemon with Rock Smash. Or we can just go around this rock, and thereby not need Rock Smash, and still get the Pokeball. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. It was just a shortcut. Cool. Big Mushroom! Thanks, now I have 2 of them. I need to sell those as soon as I get back to a place where I can sell those. So I guess when I get to Blackthorn would be the next time I have access to a Pokemon. Wartortle is here. That's great. Never fear, Wartortle is here. I like his sprite in this game, like a lot. I think it's really good. I like the color on him. It feels, it's very, like, very pleasing. It's a very pleasing blue. It feels like a very calm, serene blue. It's like sky blue. I like that. I look at it and I just get relaxed. Meanwhile, normally, in other games, when I look at Wartortle, like, the color of him, I just look at, like, I don't know, it's like a weird, like, bluish, purplish thing that just... It's like a dark blue. It's like a dark, sort of grayish blue, and so it makes me kind of on edge. Like, I don't like the color of Wartortle. I feel like it also just... Not only is it just, like, not very nice color, like a very edgy, like, kind of ugly color, very, like, edgy, kind of ugly shade of blue they gave him, but also, it just looks so different from the shade of blue on Squirtle and Squirtle and Blastoise, to the point where it's kind of like... It kind of throws me ajar. It's kind of jarring, is how I think most people would say that. Is throws me ajar even, like, a proper way of saying that? Like, do people even say it that way? Does anyone say it that way? Or did I just invent a new way of saying jarring? It throws me ajar. That sounds correct. I feel like ajar is a word. And then throws me off is correct. So I feel like throws me ajar would make sense as another way of saying it's jarring. It throws me ajar. Yeah, I think I'll stop here, honestly. Or, I mean, I guess I don't want to get lost in the cave, right? I don't want to, like, walk over here and then see this ladder down and be like, oh my gosh, I need to go down this ladder. And then just end up walking back to, like, the beginning of the cave. I don't want to, like, leave this and then be confused later as to where I am in the cave. So, I guess I'll finish the cave today. It can't be that much longer. Surely. Surely it can't be that much longer. It just is... Because this is the last episode I'm recording today, right? So, I don't... What the heck? This is the last episode I'm recording today, so I don't want to, like, confuse myself. If it was just like, oh, I stop for this episode, and then I like wait until the next episode. It was just like, I stop for this episode, and then I wait till I start recording the next episode to pick up. And then I'd be like, okay, yeah, fine, we'll end it here. But the fact that this is the last episode I'm recording today makes me feel like I need to do this now, because if I don't, then I'll pick this up. I'll pick up where I left off, like a long time from now, like at least 4 days from now, and then not remember where I am in this cave. And then there's a strong possibility I don't remember where I came from. I don't remember which way I came from and which way I have to go, and then I just get lost. So I feel like it would be beneficial for me to finish this now. I don't know how to get this Pokeball. I really get this Pokeball. I think well, it's optional, obviously, because this is the way forward. But I don't know how to get it. I'm really thinking here. I'm really trying to think hard about it. I guess I would go down here. Like this? Is this the right spot? Okay, that is a good spot. Perfect. And I get from that TM26, a TM. Okay, I was gonna say, like, I could tell, obviously I was talking about in a previous episode, or maybe that was just earlier in this episode, I was talking about how, I can tell whether or not it's gonna say my bag is full, just by how quickly the first dialogue box of, you got this, starts to... Just by how quickly it appears, I can tell whether or not it's going to say after that text box, your bag is full. And it was going fast enough to the point where I was like, it's not going to say my bag is full. What is this? So it's an item I already got? No, actually, it's not an item I already got. It's a TM. Well, it could be a TM I already got, but it is Octazooka. That is not a TM I already got. Is that useful to me in any way, shape, or form? I don't know. I may teach someone that later. I may not. We'll see. I feel like Octazooka is not that good of a move. I feel like it's pretty situational. If not just bad. We'll check it out at a later date. We'll check it out later. Check it out some other time. I'm sure before the Pokemon League, I will go through all my TMs and determine which ones are absolutely not useful in the slightest, and which ones I could actually do something with, because that's what I tend to do before the Pokemon League and pretty much every playthrough that I do of Pokemon. So now... we're encountering another Arcanine. This one's not shiny, thank goodness. I think I would have a heart attack if I ran into another shiny Arcanine. In the same episode, in the same cave. But now we're gonna go to Nina, because Quincy is not only pretty low on health, but also weak to fire. So now it's going for Takedown. That's fine, especially since it misses. That makes it even more fine. And then Body Slam is what we're going for against it. And then it is probably going to die in one hit. We go for Body Slam against it. It dies in one hit, because it's shit. Yeah, so now are we going to get something out of this Pokeball that we already have in our bag, or is it going to be a TM, or is it going to say, your bag is full? Let's see. Okay, we did get it. It is a rare candy. It is something that we can fit in our bag, because it is something we already have. We can put it in the stack of rare candies, which used to be only one rare candy strong, but now is 2. That's great. We have doubled our rare candy, our rare candy inventory. And so now we are going to go over here, check what's in this Pokeball. It's something that I can't get. I could tell by the speed of the box. And I clicked on it again because I'm dumb. Okay, Mint Berry. We honestly don't need it, but in order to get that Pokeball up off the Pokeball that is inside of up off the floor, which I want to because it's satisfying, I am going to drop something. And that thing that I drop is going to be an Awakening, because I can always buy more. It's not a big deal. Give? No, I mean, not use. Give? You can give it? Well, I guess you can give anything. It just because you give it doesn't mean the Pokemon will use it. Paralyze Heal, we don't need to give away just yet. We might need to, depending on how many other things we get. But I feel like we're holding on to the Paralyze Heal for a decent amount, because I feel like you get... Meanwhile, like instead of the Awakening, in the case of the Awakening, we got rid of it, obviously, but I feel like we're holding on to the Paralyze Heal for much longer, because you get paralyzed much more often than you get put to sleep, I feel. Despite the fact that paralysis is, like, kind of just an electric type thing, and sleep is not really associated with the type, it's just something that a lot of things do. Paralysis actually it can be done to a Pokemon by a lot of things that aren't electric, aren't a lot of moves that like aren't electric type moves. So even though when a Pokemon gets paralyzed, you see like electricity on them, there are a lot of moves in Pokemon that aren't electric type that still paralyze. So I feel like even though it's stereotypically an electric type thing, like the electric type status effect, like freeze is the ice type status effect, burn is the fire type status effect, like paralyze you would say is the electric type status effect, obviously, but I feel like more so than freeze or burn, or poison, a lot of moves that aren't the type that status effect is associated with, electric, actually do paralyze. So that's interesting when you think about it, because poison, burn, and ice are all like status effects associated with one type. Well, they're not all associated with one type, like they're all associated with types. Burn, poison, freeze are all status effects associated with a type, and they all are pretty much exclusive. They all are pretty much given. Pretty much all of them. Sorry. Burn, poison, and freeze are status effects exclusive. No. Poison, burn, and freeze are status effects that are like. Oh my gosh, how do I put this? While I think of how to put this, I'm gonna fight this trainer. Unless they're not a trainer, in which case that is really inconvenient for me, because I don't want to end the episode now, but I said I'd end the episode after I got out of the cave, so. Hold on. I may need to do one of those things where I like a rant after the end of the video, just like walking around in a circle. Wow, you came through the ice path? You must be a real hotshot trainer. Okay, thank you. But anyway, yeah. Burn, freeze, and poison are all, like, the status effects of types, right? They're all status effects that are emblematic of certain types, and so is paralysis, but unlike burn, poison, and freeze, the type that it is, like, representative of, in the case of paralysis, it is not really exclusive to. Like, only poison moves tend to poison. Only fire moves tend to burn. Only ice moves tend to freeze. But there are a lot of moves that aren't electric type moves that paralyze, which I think is interesting, even though it's like clearly the electric type status effect. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching EVClan. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. This is Alex Espion, signing off.